Yes.
Call the February meeting of the Public Safety Committee to order. You were handed an agenda. First thing will be the roll call. I'll ask Casey to do that.
Ron Puckett.
Here.
Ricky Murray.
Here.
Keith Nash. Devin Pickard. Matthew Barnhill.
Here.
Paul Callicott.
Here.
Clay Chester.
Here.
Danny Clark.
Here.
Todd Collins.
Here.
Wayne Thompson.
Here.
Steve Janakis.
Here.
Jim Harris.
Here.
Dusty Jordan.
Here.
Ron Mayberry.
Here.
12 present, 2 absent.
We have a quorum. Next order of business is approval of agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Dusty, seconded by Callicott. Does anybody wish to speak at the public comment period?
No, sir.
Need to adopt the minutes of the last public safety. Motion by Mayberry, seconded by Giannakis.
Chairman, do you want to approve the agenda?
We didn't do that?
Well, you had a motion and a second, but you...
It has been a rough week, boys.
I don't know why.
All those in favor of approval of the agenda, say aye. Opposed? Now we've moved on to the adoption of the minutes for last month. Can I get a motion for that? Mr. Mayberry, seconded by Giannakis.
Chairman, we got a couple months that we need to approve that we do not have them on that.
Because of the November,
Correct.
December situation.
Right.
If there's no objection, does your motion include the November minutes too, Mr. Mayberry?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Giannakis? So we're voting on approving the November and January minutes of this committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna get into the reports from the department heads. Alan, you have some financial stuff. I don't know what the sheriff has. Pete, even Matt played a role in this. Is he still here? There he is. I'd like to provide some of this time for y'all to take care of your business, Alan, and what you have to do. If any of y'all want to brag on your employees, the chair has no problem with that. Because they have done outstanding. Anything else you need to talk about that you may need action on in next month's county commission meeting? We'll start with you, Alan.
So we're reporting numbers from October. Remember the last time we met, we could not get those numbers due to the computer failure. And so in October, we had 241 runs. Our collections were 113,424.80, and the charges were 123,239. And so those margins are kind of coming together for us a little bit on these. So we're very glad of that. And need you guys to vote on that.
Motion approved.
Motion by Commissioner Chester, seconded by Commissioner Barnhill. And this is for two of them, right?
Pardon?
Is this for two or?
October only.
Just October?
Yes, sir.
Financial. That's a roll call.
Ron Puckett.
Yes.
Ricky Murray.
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill.
Yes.
Paul Callicott.
Yes.
Clay Chester.
Yes.
Danny Clark.
Yes.
Todd Collins.
Yes.
Wayne Thompson.
Yes.
Steve Janakis.
Yes.
Jim Harris.
Yes.
Dusty Jordan.
Yes.
Ron Mayberry.
Yes.
12 yes, 2 absent.
So in the past 90 days, you know that we've been tasked with 2 major disasters in our county. both which our county has responded to across all emergency disciplines with a professionalism that's unparalleled. In the latest winter storm, our response has been used as a model through the state for other counties to follow. The success of this event is due to all the hard work and the blue sky planning time that's used in our EMA. Our EMA director, Pete Tibbs, Sarah Stewart, and Val Woodall made this happen so smoothly, and they didn't start on the 24th planning this. This was something that's been planned on, and scenarios have been run on for months and months and months. So that's what you pay EMA to do, is to prepare for this type of thing, and they performed well. The response by EMA, Fire Department, Sheriff's Department, and EMS proved to be life-saving. We responded as one team with one mission. Our employees selflessly, daringly, and with full dedication, that's unseen by many other departments and the department heads that I talk to. They can't get their employees to do anything like what our employees have done. They always look at us and wonder how, well, we create a culture that's a positive culture, a culture of family, and a culture where they know that they are well valued. Now, our employees responded this way and showed that level of dedication, even though they're some of the lowest paid in the state, both EMS, Sheriff's Department, EMA as well. On Friday, 1/23, our Assistant Director, Jesse Woodall, implemented our severe weather SOG, instructing our ambulances to transport only to the nearest hospitals and declining any out-of-county transfer that came across the phone. During that time, EMS responded to 115 calls for emergency service between Saturday, 1/24, and Wednesday, the 28th, 115 calls. Each of those calls took way longer than what we would normally take, some taking up to 3 hours to complete. Fire departments, the sheriff's office, EMS staff, and office staff and supervisors, and citizens ensured that our ambulances made it to the scene or as close to the scene as possible. Our 4x4 ambulances that we purchased were lifesavers. We had people that we couldn't get to on numerous occasions, many of them with very severe injuries, and several of them with life-altering injuries, where we couldn't get an ambulance to them, we couldn't get a four-wheel drive truck to them. Citizens would come by with a side-by-side and a chainsaw, and we'd start up a mountain and cutting our way tree by tree, and getting to the patients. The one patient I'm describing now had a severe head injury, and is still hospitalized for that. And we did that on several occasions. In the pre-planning stage at EMS, our employees begin to call before the disaster, asking if they could volunteer. Where can we help? Some of those people ended up working 72 hours straight, and that means 72 hours straight without rest. With that high call volume, we added a fourth crew using our part-time and full-time employees. Our employees staffed the extra truck. We never lacked that fourth truck. We never had an empty seat at EMS. Our employees came and filled every position that we had available. And we were avalanched with calls from our people asking, where can I go help? What can I do? And so I appreciate our employees greatly. Our office staff could have taken time off because government offices were closed, but instead they came in and responded with the ambulance in our 4x4 fast vehicles, putting at least 12 hours a day in sometimes up to 18 hours. I'm proud and thankful to be a part of this team of responders. Thank you.
Sheriff, would you like to go next?
Let Pete go.
I want to echo what the Director said there, and also to add to that, I want to thank y'all, because I know most of y'all made it to the LC, y'all care about your communities that y'all serve, and the ones that couldn't be there, I know your hearts were there. I want to thank our county mayor. There was a situation that come up that I didn't have anyone to be able to stay at his shelter, overnight shelter location one night. Before I could even get the word out, he volunteered to spend the night at the shelter so that I wouldn't have to fill that role. So with that being said, and added to what Alan said, I'm just thankful to be in Hickman County. I'm thankful to have the role that I have. I do want to also throw a little thanks toward Jason Pierce. He worked in that operations role. He actually had to call in and request time off of work and took vacation hours to come down and help fill gaps that I had within my department. This is a team effort. You're only as good as the team that you have around you, and I'm ever so thankful. That's really all I've got. Just thank everybody.
Jim Two kind of said about everything that can be said. The last 8 days have been a disaster. We are very blessed to live in the community that we do. I can tell you that the public safety group that we have is tremendous with our employees and all the hard work they put in, but also the citizens that come out and help as well. Mr. Mayberry and I run into him at the gas station, and he was taking gas and propane to some people that was in need. We made a lot of those trips. I can tell you, last Monday, not this one we just had, but the one before that, we'd been out all night, and I know when I turned my radio on that morning, every deputy that we had working was telephone calls, and we had between 40 to 50 that was pending calls that we were trying to get to, and we just had to take them as best as we could, as fast as we could, through the priorities. Pete called me that first day, and he said, and I give Pete and his crew, unbelievable. Maybe people in here don't realize this. Pete and his employees started sleeping at the EMA building before this even took place, so they would be there. I did not. Most of y'all know where I live at in Toddy's Bend. When it all started going downhill, I was on the phone with Pete, and he said he was there. I said, Pete, I'm on the way. He called me back a little bit later and said, you on the way? And I said, I'm coming. It took me 4 hours to get out of Toddy's Bend. Cutting as much as we could, as fast as we could, and it was a mess. As bad as it was, I think we're very blessed that we had 2 weather-related deaths. Honestly, with the magnitude of what happened, I thought it was going to be a lot more than that, and there still could be. You know, we're 8 days into this. 2 days ago, the rescue squad cut to a house and got a gentleman out that hadn't eaten in 2 days. So, and there's still, as of today, there's some roads and houses where we still haven't been able to access other than walking to. We may still have some more issues. We've had, our departments have worked together in everything we're doing, our employees. Y'all know we all joke and cut up with each other. The EMS side, the fire side, law enforcement, police, that's what we do. We joke and cut up. But also we know that we're family when we come together. the metal meets the meat, it's, we're all family, we all take care of each other. I appreciate everybody in this room and the support y'all have given us and coming out to the EMA building. When it was busy, if you got the chance to come see, I know Steve was there, Danny was there, I know, a bunch of y'all came in, but I know I've seen them multiple times. There's a lot going on, there's a lot of moving parts of that and everything is happening. We're trying to organize and, Jason and Pete does a great job of this. So we got, National Guard coming in, we got, 50 forestry division people coming in. All this help coming from everywhere. And to organize that, make sure everybody has a place to sleep, make sure everybody can get fed, that's a lot of work. And still monitoring, at one time, we had 5 warming stations open. So that's all had to be manned, that's all had to, we had over 150 people that was, having to have shelter somewhere that we were feeding, maintaining their well-being, and make sure they're taken care of during all this. So it's a lot of work. I can tell you the hours that's been put in over the last few days. I got, I called, we still got people sleeping at the EOC right now. I know several of my employees were sleeping there. I felt, bless his heart, I felt bad, one of them, he slept there for 5 nights, because he couldn't get home. But he knew he had to come to work, so he was just going there, sleeping, and coming back to work. So, I just wanna thank all the employees, everybody in this room, greatly appreciate everything. Danny, me and Jesse Woodall was doing some welfare checks the other day. Danny was at the ELC building. He said, where y'all going? I said, we're gonna do welfare checks. We got some folks out on Swan, we got a check that's been there without power. One's on hospice. And he said, can I go with you? And he jumped in the truck and went with us. I know a lot of people in here was delivering food. Like Steve brought me mobsters. He knew that he was trying to keep it going. So, at one point he told me, he goes, hey, I'll put you some mobsters in the refrigerator. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Because there has been a lot going on. And like I said, it's been a team effort from everybody. And we appreciate, I appreciate, bottom of my heart, all the work that everybody's put in. And there's still work to be done. We got a meeting here before too often long to start planning out for tomorrow. And that's gonna be for the next several days as well. So, again, thanks everybody.
Be sure and have cake. Be sure and have Casey let this group know when that meeting is, if there's a way they can attend, so that they can. Mr. Howell, do you have anything? You played a role in this too.
I didn't do much, and I'm not gonna try to follow up what these guys had to say.
Well, maybe I should have picked you first.
He done a lot.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think I got into a situation where I needed maintenance, and this was off duty, wouldn't have been there if I wouldn't have had any other choice. He answered the phone, he said, what do you need? I got you. And he done everything and reported back, so I wanna throw that out there for our maintenance director.
Absolutely. And drove in on one of the very slick days, and I told him not to, but I said, hey, is the key in your tractor? And he said, no, it's in my truck. I said, well, don't worry about it. He said, no, it'll be there after a while. And I said, don't worry about it. Nope. He drove from his house just to bring a key to the tractor so we could use the tractor. We're very blessed with the people we have.
He helped us as well. He's trying to get us set up with a generator at our Station 1. We didn't get it done, but he was trying. He and Pete both were working really hard on that and just didn't get it done, but appreciate the time.
So I spoke with, on Matt, I spoke with Commissioner Barnhill's wife earlier today. Matt made sure that the East Community Center got cleaned up, took care of the janitorial part of that for us, and that was one of the things that had to be done as we withdrew from that. The mayor would like to say thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I don't wanna leave Jordan Sachs out of this.
Well, he was next on my list. He's not
He's
usually.
fixing to be a busy man, and he don't realize it yet. Thank you, Jordan.
Jordan was involved in this. Jordan sat at one of the tables with his computer open all through this. One of the state guys asked me, where did you find your emergency management director? We they told me they had dealt with several emergency management directors that, they had to lead through all this, and he said, the young man's amazing. Every time we told him what he was about to have to do, he would push a button on his computer. He had already done it. I've sent it to you. I've sent it to you. And, yes,
Before you go to Jordan, Jesse and Valerie just walked in. Again, thank y'all very much for everything y'all done over the last 2 days. Dispatch got overwhelmed. That's the thing we talked about earlier with Valerie. Dispatch got overwhelmed with the amount of calls that was coming in. EMA set up a hotline for numbers of people who just need welfare checks done, so all that wasn't going through dispatch to try to keep some of the calls off, call volume down. Valerie was the one answering those calls. About 15 pages of spreadsheet that she put in just welfare checks, contact information, and who was going out and checking these people. Jesse come in on his days off and working. Again, that's the group that we have and the people that care about our community, and that's why they do it. So Valerie is a volunteer. Jesse come in on his days off, and after he worked a lot over this past week. But also, I want to mention this too. With that, we also found problems, things we need to fix. You know, we end up losing all communications within 20 hours, 24 hours. We had no radios, we couldn't talk to anybody. The road was so bad getting up there you couldn't get to it, so we couldn't get to the tower site to even get it back up. But we looked at some, we know what some of the problems are, and we're gonna fix those. Another problem that come in, and I just wanna put this on, I know it's money, I get it, and we don't have any money, I get it, we hear it all the time. Generators at our EMS station is very important. To be able to open doors, get the ambulances out, to keep the lights on. We had one day, you know, we're dealing with a situation where power's out. We could not get fuel. Mr. Owens was down. We called him, he actually come in, put fuel in one of his trucks he delivers, and he was pumping, filling patrol cars up, and ambulances up, out of that truck. That was the only way we could get fuel in Hickman County at the time. We had pumps at the East Station that were full of fuel, no power, we could not put in gas in. So, I know it's a cost, I don't think you, but it's something I think in the near future, we should probably be looking at getting some generators for our EMS. That's all I got. Again, thank you.
That's a segue to something I wanted to say. Y'all don't let me hog before I'll recognize anybody, but I mentioned it at the EOC to a few people, and Pete, I have no doubt that it's gonna happen, is there's gonna be an after-action review of this.
Yes, sir.
I was there, I got to see a lot of this. I wasn't like Mr. Giannakis and hauled groceries and gasoline and propane all over the county to people, and like Casey did, but we can't leave Casey out of this. He did as much as anybody, in that. I didn't do that. And I mentioned it, for those of you that were there last night heard this, and some of you weren't, some people in the audience were. The one thing that was not in the EOC was ego. There was none in there. It never missed a league because there were no egos in there. And we're talking about law enforcement and firefighters and people there. I can see egos being part of the personality, but they never manifested in that room. But I want to thank Pete and Sarah, not for what they did during the event, but the event worked like it did because of what they did before the event. That does not need to go unnoticed. I'm not going to get into the Sheriff's Department and ambulance service because I'll still be talking when Judge Puckett comes in the morning and wouldn't have scratched the surface. And I do want to be involved or at least witness the after-action review. One of the, as I noticed all this stuff up there, and the ones of you that heard it last night, I'll say it again, I designated myself as a food taster because I wasn't essential. If it killed me, it would be okay. Take care of everybody else. But Jason Pierce that is not part of the everyday EOC. Had he not been involved in this, and like they said, he took off work to do this, brother, he's got a good boss on top of everything else. He should get some recognition in this. But the one I noticed more than anything else, Mr. Collins will appreciate this. You see the NASCARs, everybody wants to talk about the motor. They got stickers all over them talking about the motor, and then they all advertise the tires that make it hit the ground, and that would be the boys that aren't in the room right now because they weren't at DOC with the tires. You see the stickers for them, but if you sit there and watch that car go around the track, you don't ever think about the U-joint. But Todd will tell you, a race car with no U-joint is just gonna sit still and make noise. And as I watched that, I realized that Valerie Woodall was a U-joint. She wasn't out there cutting up trees, but anybody that can see this, watching it on the YouTube or whatever it's on, if you got a medical welfare deputy, firefighter to show up at your house, it was because of her. If you got food delivered to you, it was because of her. If you were in a warming center, she orchestrated all that. I'm not taking anything away from anybody. Everybody was busy. That was a need to be filled, and she filled it. I spoke to several people before. I'm going to recognize her in particular. And is it going to make anybody mad? And to a man, no, please do it. If you had walked into that building, a total stranger, not knowing anybody, no insignia, no name tags, no jerseys, no shirt, I swear you would have thought she was running the show. She was in the first office in the door, and everybody was going to see her. The sheriff called her so much she was going to get a stalking order against him, so he'd have to She worked over 100 hours. She worked around the clock. If she took a nap, she turned her alert on her phone up to such a volume that it would wake her up because she didn't want somebody to call from out of state worried about their mother who they haven't heard from that's on such and such a road and not get a response to that and not get somebody on the way. Over 100 hours. She's not a member of any of these organizations. She came in there and done it. And I wish we had a U-joint award to give her because everything had to go through her. And Valerie, I wish you'd stand up so if they don't know who you are, that they will be able to recognize you. A lot of people were able to do what they do that they're getting credit for because you did what you did. And thank you. I went into EOC today, it was virtually vacant, and my first thought was always her office, how's your day going? And that office being empty was striking. It affected me. So I thank you. And does anybody else have anything to say?
I'll say something. I know that there's, you know, when something like this happens, it's our natural instinct to take care of our assets, our people that we know that's close to us, that sort of thing. There's some folks at the EMA that they got assets, I don't even know if they've been back to, but their kitchen's flooded and they just walked away and took care of the county. And that's huge, so.
I'd like to echo what the sheriff said, that even though a loss of life is terrible, but just for two individuals, it's something I believe could have been a lot worse. So, yeah, you can't thank these people enough. It's amazing, it really is.
And if Pete and the sheriff wouldn't mind, there's there's another aspect to this, that they're not kidding. I got to hear some of the conversations. They developed a model for how this is gonna be handled. There's other counties that are not through the life safety portion of this yet, that are adjusting their models on how they're handling it based on the way that our emergency management handles it. And that's a pretty good thing. But we're sitting here right now, they were big guns to just transition directly into the cleanup of this. If Sheriff, you or Pete, one can talk more on this than me and probably ought to do it, but the federal government stopped it. The way I would put it is they outran their coverage. Nobody else is at that level, so the federal government did not want to send them assets that they had promised them because they're still life safety people. And I'll turn it over to Pete, but if you see a lull in this, don't let anybody say that somebody's given up. We're waiting on the rest of the state to catch us.
So during disaster situations, how we resource personnel, they're assigned specific tasks. And the resources that are available to us right now are just basically cut and throw crews. Open roadways for emergency service personnel, those types of things. And in order to start the next process, they have to be reassigned to a different task, which would be your chipping and moving crews. So we were successful enough in the plans that we had and the volunteers that we had and the personnel that we worked, that we are ahead of schedule, basically, according to the rest of the counties and their status right now. So we're just in that transition period of these resources have to be resourced for a different task in order for us to start using them in the cleanup process. So that's kind of where we're at now. We transitioned some yesterday, we're transitioning some tomorrow, and then we'll be back up, ready to start getting this debris off of our roads and out of our neighbors' yards tomorrow. That's where we're at right now.
Mr. Chairman, I can tell you that, I know me and Pete and probably a bunch of us, we used up a lot of favors we had over the last few days too, so.
I watched you burn one that was 25 years old.
But, I've been, and I probably, I know I've told you this, and I've told several people this, is, the progress that's been made. I can't believe we've made it this far this quick. Like I said, we still have some roads and some areas we can't get to, but there's only so much we can do with ice. But for us to have most of the roads open where they are now, there's been a lot of people doing a lot of hard work, and it shows.
Does anybody else?
I'd just like to ask him one more question. I better remember I believe it was 30 years ago or so, the '94 ice storm, just in comparison, and then that one was terrible. I can remember it slipping me a little bit, but this one seemed to me a lot worse.
Yes.
Than the one we had. Was that 94, 95 or something? 94, and I'd have to have the sheriff make,
Yeah. This is a lot worse than that. In my opinion, like I said, this was,
What
I think a lot of stuff worked faster. Now, one thing which we've not mentioned a whole lot of is, Meadoware Lewis and Dixon Electric. I mean, they rocked and rolled during this. You're looking at the day one, all this started, 90% of our county was without power. 90%. 3 days ago, was it 3 days ago?
Yes, it was 200.
Yeah, we were, 3 days ago, we went from 90%, 3 days ago it was 10% was without power. And today it's less than 200, and most of those are situations where they have to get electricians in because the weather heads come off or some problems with the meter. They're just waiting for that to get fixed so they can put power to the house. So They done tremendous work. I know they brought a lot of extra help in. We ran into, and I think we ran into some issues with, some of our volunteers coming in and having the appropriate PPE to work, chaps and gloves and safety glasses and helmets. We reached out to Middleware List and Dixon Electric, and they took care of us today, donating, hard hats and safety glasses, hearing protection. So they've done a fantastic job in helping us and the citizens of our community.
On the 94, Jim, what I remember about that is that 2 days after the ice, I was in my shirt sleeves cleaning debris up. It wasn't nearly as cold, it made it a lot more productive.
The day after, it was 48 degrees the day after the ice storm hit.
This one was a lot harder to handle, probably a little more widespread too. The part of this that, as commissioners, you're gonna have to think about is, the ambulance service, the sheriff's department, EMA, just in the Akron Energetic situation, depleted their overtime, really hurt their fuel budgets, and this one has wiped them out. I'm sure we're in a deficit. Nobody's had time to pull the calculator, to set their chainsaw down long enough to pull their calculator out, but that's coming. We may know something by Monday at your meeting, Mr. Giannakis, but it may take a little longer than that, but there was no regard, and I mean this in the most complimentary way. The budget was not high on the priority list when this was going on. And I commend them for it. I've seen in the past people in positions that we're eating a lot of money up here. The sheriff figured out a way to rent 2 skid steers for a week so he could do what he had to do.
Pete.
The-
Pete got them rented, he said, if you put operators on it, we can do it.
So they did, the people that are in this position, they don't meet once a month, they do it every day. They made decisions that they could make, and they did what had to be done, and I hope that the county at some point in time gives them the recognition that they deserve. I mean, the citizens out there, more than a pat on the back, that this is what you deserve. Is there anybody, Jesse, you wanna say anything?
No, sir, I was listening to the meeting tonight on my phone before we, decided to come. Somebody told us we needed to come, so we was actually going out to dinner, so we stopped here first. I was listening to something that Jason said, while he was giving his spiel earlier, and I wanna reiterate on what he said. And kind of what you just said, we do it every day, and he made a statement earlier, we laugh and cut up, and we are a big family. And he'll tell you, and Alan will tell you, and Pete will tell you, when Sunday morning at about 6 a.m. when we finally all got to the EOC, it was all business, and it all meshed, and there was no arguing, or what do I do, what's my role, everybody knew. And I'd like to thank Pete and Sarah for that, because without their planning, we couldn't do it. And we do it every day, but what people don't see and don't recognize is behind the scenes, when we go to the EOC, myself or Jason or Alan, all the time, every day, there's mention of what if this happens? You just seen in this situation what happens when that what if happens, and it was handled tremendously. Thank you.
Thank you. On that, I thought Todd might say it, but Todd made the comment in here one night that in the EOC, there's a file on what to do if Godzilla comes up out of Duck River.
There probably is.
You can't wait till that day to put that plan together, and that's why Mr. Tibbs' position exists. I think there's been people in the past that have doubted the need of that position, but I don't think you can sit here now and think that. how we handle it going forward, maybe it'll be a different world for them, I don't know. I appreciate everybody, but as far as I know, that's the totality of the business of the public safety. Mr. Chester.
I want to also turn around and commend all of our people sitting here that went above and beyond. Just hearing the discussion and knowing how a lot of times we're all guilty of treating emergency services in general of when something happens to me, I want them ready. But I think the old quote that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure really applies in this case, because obviously there was a lot of prevention, so to speak, planning that clearly took place. And when it's 75 and sunny outside and you're doing that planning, it's hard to think about 5 degrees and trees down everywhere. But something like this doesn't just happen flying by the seat of your pants when the snow starts falling. There was clearly a lot of coordination, a lot of planning, a lack of egos, like you said, and even somebody that's not in it every day, like me personally, I can look at how it all transpired and say this was a team effort. They had their ducks in a row, had it planned beforehand, and so I just say great job to all of you. Appreciate you so much for what you do.
Thank y'all again. Tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, 911 building, there will be a 911 meeting. Not only these guys put out fires and keep us safe, and carry us wherever we need to go, they've been working feverishly for the past several years to get communications changed. That started in 2010. Somewhere around 11 or 12, there was a commitment made. It's took this group here till now, with a lot of hard work and every other job that they do, along with the mayor, to get all this done and make a transition. And we found out it's still not ever perfect.
We got a lot to talk about tomorrow.
A lot to talk about tomorrow. This meeting's not over with. There are still needs that we can help with. Don't come expecting to be asked for money. Come and see what needs to be done. So when we do meet over for budgets, we know how important this really is. 911 building, 6 o'clock tomorrow night. It will not be on video, because communication needs to use, so you need to be in-house if you can.
What does a generator cost? You were talking about that earlier. What's
About 40,000. The range is, there's a lot that goes into that. We have to make sure that they're compliant with state regulations, P25 compliances, and then you got to do the weight rate load. So 3-phase system versus single-phase systems, I couldn't give you a number off the top of my head, what that would cost to install.
No, Matt's looked at them some.
We don't, yeah, so we've been pre-planning this for a while, trying to get some numbers together to bring to commission. We still don't have those numbers in hand yet to be able to hand out, so I couldn't.
Again, I just wonder if anybody, I'm not, not holding you to it, does anybody have like a ballpark figure, or like I said, one?
A couple of years ago, they were around 40.
Yeah.
Right, we would do the, okay.
Is that right?
For the 3-phase, but that would probably be in the ballpark.
Well, we did get some quotes a couple of years ago when they were right in that ballpark, so, how prices have done since then, so.
What's the number? I couldn't hear you.
40 is what, we got a couple of years ago, if I remember correctly.
Got a generator man sitting in the crowd. Probably answer that question. Give us some guidance.
I'm an emergency process system that interfaces with generators, but, I'm not really in the sales department, but it all depends on the price of the gens, depends on how big it's gonna be, and the installation cost, and the transfer switch it has to be on. So 40 sounds about right for that.
Times what?
What's that?
Times what?
How many you need?
Just 2?
We need 2 for EMS. You need one somewhere else?
Yeah, what we were proposing, what we were looking at as far as numbers, Matt and I have been working with, It'll be a total of 4 generators, is what we need in our area to help with emergency services in situations where, like what we're going through right now, it would greatly benefit.
About 2 cents, 2.5 cents. We look at it tax money.
For 1 year,
Yep.
for one year.
So, right.
And that's what, that's the, I mean, this ought to be the after-action review. I don't see why anybody would be intimidated by that, because everybody shined like new money, but there were some deficiencies that with all the planning and everything else that was so good, there were still some deficiencies. Y'all will talk about one at your meeting, one of them is on 911. There's no blame to be assigned to that, it's just, you know, looking at that now, we need to upgrade the fuel tank at the 9 Mile Ridge site. It had this, Jason, what was it? What was the run time on that with a full
44
tank?
hours.
40 hours?
44.
44 hours. So if the tank was full when this event started, it wouldn't even go 2 days on the generator. And I would have never noticed that as a problem, but in hindsight, instead of a 200-gallon tank, there needs to be a 850,000-gallon tank up there. I don't see that being a great expense, and again, that's 911's equipment, and I'm sure they will address that.
With us renting 2 skid steers, putting 2 people running them, it took us 2 days to get the road clear enough to get up there. That was after we got those, it was like 2 days before that, before we got those. So it took about 4 days to get the towers back online.
You'd have had a helicopter, how long? You'd have had a helicopter, how long? I'm sorry.
We could get up there.
About 20 minutes.
And actually, I think one of the first trips we made, I remember who was the first time. And I guess the thing like I said, we weren't able to get all of
It was me and you, and I'd have much rather been in a helicopter. We did make it.
We did make it, but it was a little sketchier for me, but we were looking at, you know, all the generator stuff that we have there. We weren't able to get all the radios up, but we were able to get what we needed to work, or to get by at the moment, with a 5,000 kW Honda generator to get at least our radio system up. And then we were in a situation where we're gonna look back every 6 hours, put gas in it. And that's what we done for a couple of days to get till we got actually got a diesel generator up there and went off on it. So, and that lasted until when the power came back in. And me and Jason Pierce and Pete both spent way too much time at that tower site. And then we started planning ahead for what was gonna happen, because we knew all the ice and everything was gonna melt. Well, when the gas truck would not been able to get up there for ice the first time, and then after it melts, it's gonna be too much mud at the tower site, he's not been able to fill up, so we had to get Ronald bring gravel up to put around the tower site, just so we could get a truck up there to refuel the tank when we could get the road open. So we had a lot going on. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff that we've seen, that we never would have thought about. I didn't realize, we found out when the gas truck guy did get up there that this generator is gonna burn about 5 gallons an hour in propane. I had no idea, I didn't know that. You know, who would have thought, you know, we'd lose power at, Owens down here where we get fuel, and also at the East Station where we get fuel, and we couldn't get fuel. Then Mr. Owens brings his fuel truck down there, and then the next day, we had problems getting it started and getting it going to pump off the truck. So, I mean, we were very blessed that it worked out like it did, but we were in a bad situation for 2 days.
This was looked at for a long time. 911's been looked at this for a long time. A lot of thought had been put into it, but there were so many variables, like if Godzilla did walk the door, you didn't think about it stepping right there.
Right.
You know, so don't think it wasn't. It's it's just we're learning a lot
Yes.
throughout this.
Pete, did you say 4 generators, is that?
Sorry.
Do you have anything to say, Sarah?
Probably too much. No, I really don't. I'm real tired, but I appreciate y'all coming and supporting us. Casey is amazing. Like,
Now, don't tell him.
Don't tell him.
Casey just a pass.
And I'll just say Valerie, through AES and through this, she has been a rock star. She has been an absolute rock star. There are so many lives that she has literally saved by getting the people that needed to get there when they got there. She knew the people to call. She allowed me to focus on the jobs that I needed to focus on, so I didn't have to worry and spend the time on that. And, I mean, there's many people, the people that opened up the shelters. There's so many people that in this community, it just humbles me. Thank y'all.
My assistant up here informs me that, Jordan, he got interrupted, we kinda shifted gears on you when it came to you.
I did nothing, we gotta burn some trash.
He's running a saw and everything.
Yes.
Or some brush.
Did, in the inclement weather, did the solid waste employees work?
Yep.
What did they do?
What's that?
What did they do?
Well, in the last half of the week, we opened up the convenience centers and, cleaned up the landfill to ensure that we get rid of this vegetation.
I'm not trying to, I know that, I've heard the reports that your employees were right there with them, just like all the rest. That comes from leadership, so you get a pat on the back just like everybody else does.
And a lot of this, especially in the last few days, is the planning of how this is all gonna work in the process of gathering all this debris up. And Jordan has been right there. I mean, it's not been too many times I look around the PLC building and he's not there. So, I mean, he's on the spot and he does a fantastic job, and he knows what's going on.
Can anybody think of anything that needs to be discussed at this point while we're in here? And this somewhat more informal situation, there's a lot, it was mentioned that we get into this in the county commission meeting, but, that, with this one coming right behind it, I just thought it would be better in here. And wanted to give Valerie time to get here. Yes, sir, Mr. Atkinson. Is there not an objection to Robert speaking, is there?
I was locked in there for a while, my son-in-law hit me out, or maybe I should say my wife's son-in-law. He helped us out, but there was so much, I just could not believe, and it's been said here 100 times tonight, with how people was out helping, but this is all, like y'all said, planning, but I have not heard of one person complaining about when they called any department, including Meriwether Lewis, that anybody said one ill word back to them. And no matter what those people, they were calling them SOBs and everything else, I'm sure. But everybody kept it cool, even though I know they wore out and stressed, and I'm just proud of them for that.
That's a fact, because what I noticed is, it wasn't Meriwether Lewis, because I wasn't exposed to them, but I was exposed to a lot of Dixon Electric boys that were as wore out as what our people are.
Well, I'm talking about everybody,
Dealing with
everybody.
irate people about where's my electricity and stuff, but the ones that I witnessed, and I'm sure Meriwether Lewis was the same way, they handled it with the utmost professionalism, understanding that that person was not at the best point of their life. I guess if nobody else has anything, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So be it.
Calicut, maybe.
They can't solve waste.
I had so many calls saying, my road is on. You know, but they just want to call and talk and.